The first Shields tenet that I chose was promoting deep and equitable change. In her article on transformative leadership, Shields gives some examples of affecting deep and equitable change in Figure 2, where she talks about giving students extended learning opportunities and identifying non-negotiables, flexible grouping, and deploying resources where there is the greatest need. One of the first artifacts that I chose to analyze was the site study that we did at the beginning of the program. And as I read through my site study, I noted that I really wanted to promote deep and equitable change through my role as the Director of Technology. And I wanted to make sure that students had access to technology and that teachers had access to the proper training. And within that site study, I discovered a lot of issues with the professional development model that we were using for technology training. But then in my actual change proposal, I focused on devices and trying to bring together various groups of people, and I didn't really address professional learning in any way. And so I felt like that was a really big misstep in my change proposal for my site study. The next artifact that I chose to look at were actually more recent projects that I've been working on in my professional life regarding professional learning for teachers. I've been working with a consultant who is working in our district right now as the temporary curriculum director, and we've been planning some different professional learning ideas from teachers, some that are related to technology and some that aren't. And we're really changing the face of professional learning in our district by providing some more autonomous opportunities for teachers to choose when and where and even what they want to focus their professional learning on. So we recently had a meeting, and I've put on the screen here the agenda for that meeting with our assistant superintendent about how we're going to change professional development and some of the ideas that we had. And I've put up a mock calendar of what some of those professional opportunities might look at. You know, rather than all face-to-face trainings on in-service days or after school, we're looking at things like online pathways, live online trainings, professional learning communities, book studies, Twitter chats, and really some 21st century professional learning that's different than professional development as it's usually done in schools. So when I look at my personal performance and my current performance in the 3 ICI areas, I rated myself fluent in intrapersonal because I feel like in terms of my feelings and my values and assumptions, I know that we need to change the way we do things in K-12 education in terms of technology and my role. But in the other 2 areas, I rated myself as emergent. I knew that action needed to be taken, but it's taken a long time for me to actually put some action steps in place and to really start promoting the change that I want to see. And so while I may understand what I need to do, I need to work on actually doing those things. And so my action plan is to continue the development of new modes of professional learning and to implement the calendar and the different modes and to really change professional development to professional learning. The second Shields tenet that I chose to look at was deconstruction and reconstruction of social/cultural knowledge frameworks. Again, in Figure 2 of her article, Shields talks about things like new redistributive principles, differentiation, reallocation of resources, things that help promote equity. Again, for my artifact analysis, I chose to look at something from the program and then something from my professional work. So I started with EDU 804 and the strategic plan that we had to write, and mine again focused on devices, specifically at the elementary level. And I looked at it and I felt like my focus really had been on devices so heavily that I was missing other things. So then I took a look at some things that I've been doing professionally, and I recently wrote what I like to call a personalized learning plan, and how technology fits into that. And so you can see on the screen the overarching vision and the strategic goals of that plan, which focus on so much more than just putting devices in students' hands. And so I think that shows growth from a focus on, technology in terms of, just the hardware that we're giving out, to a full focus on all of the things that go into a well laid out technology plan. So then, in terms of the ICI framework, I rated myself emergent in each area. In terms of interpersonal, I think that I have ideas and I have them sort of written down, but I need to do a better job of communicating them with those around me and the stakeholders in our district. In terms of intrapersonal, I think the values and beliefs again are there. I know what's important. I see the value of what I'm doing, but it needs to be sort of communicated. And cognitively, I put emergent there just because I'm constantly reading and researching best practice, but I think there's always more to learn, and so I'm constantly going to conferences and reading things, and learning from other people online, and I think that you can never learn enough. And so my action plan in this area is to involve my department in the plan that I've written and get them to align their goals to our department goals, their personal goals. I want to conduct an outside audit, have an outside set of eyes come in and look at the plan and look at where we are and determine what we do well and what we don't, because I think it's always helpful to have an outside set of eyes. And lastly, I want to start developing some action plans to meet those goals. It's great to have things on paper, but you really need to get things going and put words to actions in order to really get things done. The third tenet I chose to focus on was acknowledging power and privilege. Again, in Figure 2, Shields talks about using ongoing dialogue about avoiding shame, blame, and deficit thinking, and using power to require change. In terms of the artifacts that I looked at, for this one I really wanted to examine myself as a leader and the progress that I've made since starting this program. And so I went back and I looked at my reflections and some of my discussion postings. I looked at meeting notes from my job and notes that I've made after meetings with some of the people that I work with, or department meetings. I've thought about personal conversations that I've had with people and reflected on them. So this was really more of a personal reflection for me. In terms of the ICI framework, again, I rated myself emergent in all of the areas. Intrapersonally, I believe in reflection and feedback, and I'm always seeking more from my colleagues, my subordinates, my superiors. So I think that is an area I can certainly grow in. In terms of interpersonal, again, I think communication is something that you can always improve on. I by no means think I'm fluent or perfect in that area, and as I look at my reflections, it's an area I think I can improve on. I know that personally criticism is something that I struggle with, giving it and receiving it, and so that's an area that I need to become more fluent in as a leader. And in terms of cognitive, you know, this program is certainly helping me learn a lot about leadership and power and privilege, and additionally, just being in a leadership role. I learn every day on the job, but there's always more to learn, and so I think that I've come a long way from the initiating stages to the emergent stage, but I'm certainly nowhere near fluent.